Okay, May 1st, 2023, MayDay, Ukraine. So I'll give you a little bit of a restack update. So we're winding up our Pioneer grant with Alien Worlds Galactic Hubs. The user manual is getting done, and we're setting up a tournament. This is a battle royale game simulator that we built as a companion game to the Alien World. So that's winding up, and that'll free up a lot of time for us to take up some Solana projects. So we submitted a proposal for one of the bounties they had on Super Team. Super Team is like it's a DAO. Yeah, it's a DAO that's supported by the Solana Foundation. And so they have grants and bounties, and they can get you in the community and all this, and you do various tasks, and then you get these memberships. And I'm not sure if there's different levels of memberships, but they're expanding. So they have we're in contact mostly with the Turkey one because we were there for the conference, but they are strong in Germany, India, I imagine, definitely in America. I think they have some chapter there as well, and then they have their just own head chapter. So they have different Twitters and different websites and everything. The sun is just an inopportune place right now, but this is the only chance I get to do videos and updates, is coming back and forth to the gym. I wish we had more of this social media and media skill, and that's something we are trying to develop here, because we're really focused actually on engineering. We're a bit on building the products and services and doing small contracts and what have you. Like we're in talks now with a company in England. We had to sign an NDA for that, so I can't say much about that other than they're just some people in the UK in London that we're talking to about an NFT type of project. So yeah, not much I can say there, but that would be interesting if that all comes through. Had several very good discussions with them, but yeah. So now going forward, we have Hugo the Parrot, and a lot's happening very fast. So that will be getting some mainstream news coverage. A couple TV stations in Croatia got interested in the project, and the thing is, Croatia more belongs to a region, the whole Balkan region, which includes like Serbia, Bosnia, Albania. So there's I can't remember all the countries there, Montenegro, but I think there's like 5 or 6 countries. It's like a Scandinavia type of thing, if you're good in Norway or good at something in Sweden, you can then do business in Finland and Denmark fairly easy. The brands and the companies kind of spread. So it's one of these tight regions. So I think it's Serbia to the north, then there's Croatia's got the coast, there's Bosnia, then there's Albania, and then there's Kosovo, and then there's Macedonia. I think those are the countries. So this TV station has reach in all of those countries. And the interesting thing is what Andrew, who's Hugo's father, had told me, is that they're big fans. They're big fans of Hugo the Parrot. So that would be a very big break for us. The other interesting development is we're trying to get in touch with a non-profit organization that works with parrot preservation or something like that, so we can get some endorsement, have them talk to us and see that we're the real deal, and work a little bit closely with them, and kind of work in a joint effort with them, because ultimately this is about the birds, not about the politics or the money and all this kind of thing. Although we are going to need funds to market the project and to get people paid, the developers and artists and all these people who will be involved, marketers, etc., etc. So we're realistic about that. Not everyone does things for altruistic reasons. I mean, if you look at like the Red Cross, they're not getting free rent, in their buildings. They have to pay rent where they go, and they have to pay for their cars and pay for their branding and all of this stuff. So yeah, we've made some budget for this as well. But hopefully this catches fire. What we're trying to do is time this with the upcycle in Bitcoin. And like I said, this is not financial advice, but we have a view that Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then eventually all the altcoins follow suit. You know, if Bitcoin and Ethereum start moving up, they're kind of leading the pack, and then the altcoin interest goes up. You know, once the feeding frenzy starts, and we see it about every 2 or 3 years, there's interest, and then it has a blow-off peak, and then everything dies down for a while. So we feel that this will time with the interest rate cuts, you know, which people think are on the horizon, or even it would be enough if they just said that they're done raising rates. If the government even said that there's no more need to raise interest rates. The sky is all funky now. The light. Yeah. I don't know. I have to reposition the camera and catch the sensor, get the light. But so yeah, this is morning in Ukraine. It's not that pretty, but it's home, you know. You know, so if you go to some of the parks they have nearby, then it's really like I said, you can be in the forest in like 2 minutes here, literally. You know, it's like we're in the middle of a city, but somehow we're also in the middle of a forest. But anyway, so yeah, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, so we want to catch this wave, right? It's like surfing. You have to go out there, you have to paddle, you have to like time the sets or something, and then you just start swimming, and then you sync up with the wave, and you got to do it just right. That's probably the hardest thing about surfing, is catching waves. It's a little bit easier in the West Coast, where you have a rocky bottom and the wave breaks in the same place every time, so it's just trial and error. But like when you're in the East Coast in Virginia, where I was living, the sand at the bottom changes, and so the wave break changes every time. So it's kind of dynamic. You have to, you know, get a feel for where the wave is and where it's going to break, and it can change. You know, it's a little bit harder. So yeah, Bitcoin, timing the Bitcoin, like figuring out when this interest rate pause is going to happen and when the momentum will pick up. It's a little bit hard. I mean, if we could see the future, I definitely I would be doing something. You know, I would be a philanthropist or something. I'd be like Bill Gates or something. You know, like trying to stop diseases or build schools or something like that. You know, so yeah, the sunlight is, like I say, it's inopportune. So what would drive an interest rate pause? I guess we're having a lot of bank failures in the US, but you know, see, there's mixed messages. This is not a for sure thing, and this is where the risk lies. The Fed might be more interested in getting rid of the inflation than saving banks like they were in 2008. They immediately stopped what they were doing in reverse course when the economy blew up in 2008. But I have a feeling now things are a bit different. There's different financial engineering technology out there, just like anything else. Financial engineering is a technology. You can create instruments, you can move money around, you can have these overnight lending facilities. You know, you have all kinds of different things they can do now. I mean, they mixed, now we've had 2 generations of people who've studied electrical and aeronautical engineering or even nuclear engineering, and then they go to Harvard and Stanford and MIT for MBAs, and they figure out, you know, in computer programs, you know, high frequency trading, or, you know, coming up with just products, you know, just coming up with like lending products to keep the economy going when money supply tightens up. You know, I was just saying someone was sneaking up behind me. So that's it's hard to understand what they're going to do. You know, it's like everyone, you know, waits for all these little statements. You know, and this is all like U.S. driven too. I mean, Europe will follow what the U.S. does with the interest rate policy. It always is. It's not this like you know, this pro-American, anti-Europe thing. It just is. You know, it's just people take the lead from the U.S. Fed. So we have to, you know, hang on the words of the U.S. Fed, what they're signaling, and they don't speak. They're speaking more clear than they used to. They used to speak more cryptic, and now they're more definite. But the message I'm getting is that they definitely want to stomp out the inflation. So what you have to watch out for is these unemployment numbers. So if this shoots up, this would reduce demand supposedly. But the problem now with the inflation is its supply side, that the people selling us the goods have raised prices because you're competing with demand in India and demand in China and demand in other, developing countries for the same resources. So that's what's dictating prices, not so much. U.S. demand is still strong, but this is a lot of what the de-dollarization is about too. Is like, it's not really de-dollarization. It's just there's other things going on in the world now. I mean, like I said, I think I said in a previous video, when the world economy was $50 trillion, it was a dollar economy. Now that the world is like 70 or 80 or $100 trillion or whatever, you have room for others. It's not like they're knocking the U.S. out. They're just the pie has gotten bigger and more people can eat pie now or something. But that's going off on a sidetrack. The bottom line is we have to watch the interest rates, and the interest rates are all decided by inflation. And what are the things that decide inflation? Producer price index, consumer price index, unemployment, inventories, all these like numbers you hear in like financial media, they all give you some indication. Like if inventories are high, that means there's just a lot of supply out there. So there'll be price cuts because like people don't want to have stuff in the warehouse. But if inventories are low, then so on and so forth. Unemployment is still low in America, even though you've had all these like tech layoffs. These are like tens of thousands in an economy of 340 million people. These people will find jobs right away. I mean, I see on LinkedIn like U.S. government is got tons of openings. They have like whole new IT departments in the government, and then there's all these small companies that couldn't hire people, that were just struggling with hiring. And now all of a sudden they've got people and they're going to become productive. They're going to get people from top companies, coming in. So there's going to be like a bit of a shifting around. So I don't know if that's going to lower, inflation and demand, maybe for a short time. But this is like what we have to watch out for. I mean, it's looking like, the consensus is when you watch Bloomberg and stuff, they're saying we're getting closer to the end of hiking interest rates than we are to starting more hikes. So there will be hikes and everything, but it looks like every hike is taking us closer to the end, supposedly. But their goal is to get the inflation rate down to 2%. And they're talking about maybe they'll have a 3% inflation target. And this is something they do in Europe. If inflation is over 2%, they just raise rates, and if it's below 2%, they cut rates, type of thing. They have this target. And America is kind of working towards that. They have I think it's like a soft target. So yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, this is a whole study in science in and of itself, and this is all dependent on people's behavior. I mean, I wish they could just tell everyone to go out there and just stop buying stuff from Walmart or something, and all the stores where they get their data. But people won't do that. People, if they see something on sale or they want something, they're not going to do it for the greater good. But it would be nice if there was like some public message like, hey, everyone, take a break of buying stuff and just buy recycled stuff or buy used stuff off of Craigslist for like a month, and that would just that would get the numbers right, and then the Fed could start signaling that they've stopped hiking, and then you'll see Bitcoin rise and everything, NASDAQ stocks and all this houses and everything will start to take off. That's the theory, because then they know it's done, and people will have some predictability about their future. And then usually what comes after a pause is even a long pause is cuts, and then the cuts bring more money into the system, and there'll be a lot of speculation about that. So that's what's going on here. This stuff with Gary Gensler and the regulators and all of this stuff, this is just noise. The real story behind the crypto prices is like the real story behind any asset price, whether it be houses, baseball cards, or artwork, or stocks. It's interest rates and inflation. It's really just those two things that are at play. And I don't know, they probably need to teach people in school more about this two mechanisms, so that they could send messages out suggesting to people, like shop less or shop more or something to so that we can game the Fed a little bit, work together, kind of like those people did in that Reddit group with the stocks or something, with the meme stocks, to stop the short selling. Maybe there could be something like this, that we all buy, go to Plato's Closet and go on Craigslist for a while and, eat food from the garden. So, the store starts saying, oh, our retail sales are down. Retail, that's another one, the retail sales, right? And retail demand. That's also what drives the Fed policy. I believe even dry cleaning receipts, right? They look at how often people are dry cleaning to see how the consumers feel, like what their sentiment is like. If you're dry cleaning your clothes more, you're pretty confident. But if the economy is not looking good, that's one of the first things you cut, is going to the dry cleaners. That's one of the first luxuries people cut. So all of these things add up. These are all like things that the government looks at. Everyone thinks the government's this and the government that. They're really just looking at trying to read tea leaves. And then they are trying to do policy in anticipation of what they see. So if more people start going to dry cleaners, they see inflation, then they start hiking. And if things start falling off, then they start, either pausing or cutting. So anyway, that's all I got today. More news to come. I would try to do these videos a few times a week to keep the transparency up, keep everyone informed. Like I said, we have some challenges ahead. We need to get users, we need to get followers, we need to get people on our Discord, people on our Twitter. So if you're seeing this, all the links are on the Restack homepage. There's like up on I think on desktop on the lower right. Anyway, I'll just put them all in the comments here, just to make it easier as well. I know we have them on the YouTube page, and then there's a big URL to the Restack page, and we have a bunch of social links on top. But anyway, take care, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.